I think you'll all get a notice that it's recording probably. So if not, I just started the recording, so it is now being recorded, just FYI.
It did give us a notice.
Okay. Looks like we've got another minute or so. We'll wait here for anyone to log in. And we've had some login issues. That one meeting we had was just all sorts of login issues. So I'll be monitoring my phone in case someone's calling because they can't get in. But I think that we've fixed that problem. Kira helped me try to troubleshoot why that had happened. We couldn't really explain it, but I think we've got all the links fixed. So hopefully everyone will get into the correct meeting this time. All right, it is 4 o'clock. I think we'll go ahead and get started then. Welcome everyone. It's been great to see you. I would like to start with, I see a few of us on the call. Hopefully a few more will log in and join us as we're getting to the 4 o'clock hour here. But the last time we met, we started off sort of doing a little around the circle, like what your summer plans were. We are now into August, believe it or not. I know I've gotten to do a float, so I did get out on the water and enjoy some outside time here in Montana. Has anyone else, like, why don't you pop in and say hello? I will do that as our attendance, maybe for the meeting today. Just go ahead and say your name. Most of your names are there, but go ahead and just say your name. I'll record your name as your attendance. And if you don't mind sharing some fun summer activity that you've managed to do this summer, that'd be great to hear. Catherine, do you want to start? You're just next on my list here.
Catherine, Walter, we haven't really done a lot of fun things for the summer yet. We're planning to do our first camping trip this weekend. We had to do a bunch of repairs in our camper first, so we're kind of slow to the start.
Well, that's necessary though, so now you'll be all set to go. So
yeah, we're going to cram every single weekend in between now and when it gets too cold.
I appreciate that, and hopefully it'll be a little longer before it gets too cold, but it can change quickly here.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Next I have Chaz.
Yes. So I'm Chaz. I did go to Alaska, and I feel like if I have all the supplies for halibut fishing, I could go out and do that on my own now. That's kind of, yeah, pretty cool skill to have, I'd say.
That is really awesome, and that is a great skill. Thanks for sharing that. I wish that is not in my skill set, so I am impressed for sure. All right, thanks, Chaz. Let's see, next on my list, Clifton.
Hello, everyone. For my summer, we've been doing a lot of updates to our property, and took the family to San Diego and did some rail fanning. My son's into trains, so we did a lot of looking at trains along the way and going to different museums that are associated with that. So that was fun.
Nice. That is a great summer trip. I am also fascinated by trains, I just have to say. I understand. They're a little scary, but they're also really fascinating. So I can appreciate that for sure. I think, Louisa, I think I see you on here.
Sorry. Hi, guys. I didn't realize my mic and my camera were both on. That's so funny. My summer, we're still in summer, right? I did get to go to Chicago for a business trip conference. Took a couple of days to go play and rode the Blue Line, which is kind of like being in the Wild Wild West in the big city of Chicago. So that was kind of nifty. Just a lot of work. Unfortunately, we did some big transitions at Peace Place, so a lot of work, but I do get to go out and chill on my deck and play with my puppies every day. So that makes me happy.
That's a great summertime activity. Good. Love Chicago. So that is great. Good traveling. All right, let's go to, I think we have a guest in the audience. Cheryl, do you want to just introduce yourself? I know you're a guest listening in this evening.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Awesome. I don't normally use Microsoft Teams, so I was a little nervous. My name is Cheryl Tuscan. I'm with the Frontier Institute, We've been following the journey of the special needs ESA's implementation, and then hoping to share the information out with a whole bunch of Montana parents who would be interested as well. And we're launching a new navigation website this week called Ed Navigate. That's going to help funnel lots of parents to help them explore their options between traditional schools and homeschooling, the ESA, the different charter programs. So we're really excited to just be partnering with you guys and hanging out and seeing how things are going.
Thanks, Cheryl. And then we've got our OPI people on hand. I see Kira is there. And Deanne is there. And then Whitney, our ESA specialist, and Kira's our family engagement specialist. Deanne is one of our senior managers in our finance department. And you're going to hear more from Whitney here a little bit down in the agenda. So she'll be talking to you a lot more in a little bit. So we'll go ahead and get started on our agenda for today. We have the litigation updates. Our purpose remains the same. You are here to review and provide feedback for us on our ESA implementation, and you all have been so key in helping us to date with the parent handbook, giving us feedback. We just are so appreciative of all of your work on that, and you'll be doing more as we get going throughout this next year. But our litigation updates, as you remember, there was a hearing. There was a motion by the plaintiffs to enjoin the work on this law. And at the end of June, that happened, and the judge decided not to enjoin this. So we are business as usual going forward ahead. So that for now, the work continues as is, but knowing that there still will be a court date deciding the actual constitutionality questions that the plaintiffs have raised on this particular legislation. So no, there will be more, but for now we are business as usual. So here we are, continuing on with that work. We are going to pop over to Whitney because she's going to be sharing with you a little bit of that reimbursement overview, because we are at the point in the program. This is in our first year here. We have 17 participants. Is that right, Whitney, or 19? 17?
17, yeah.
17. Participants in the program who have signed contracts and are going to be asking for reimbursement. The first round of reimbursements will come, and Whitney, I'm not going to say any more about it too much. She'll be coming soon and she'll give you that little bit of an overview. But we're actually at the point where we have finalized contracts with 17 participants and their families. We've notified the schools of those participants already, so the schools know, and they need to, per the law, they need to remit that information back to that money, back to the OPI by the 10th of September, and then the 10th of each month thereafter. And so I will pass this over to Whitney because she's now going to talk to you a little bit about that reimbursement process, just to give you a quick overview of how that's been going, and for the ease of parents and how that is. So she's going to talk about that and answer any questions that you have. So I'll pop it over to Whitney. Thanks, Whitney.
Perfect. Thank you, Christy. Hope everyone's doing good. So yeah, we sent out a letter notification to our parents mid-July, letting them know that our reimbursement process is up and going. And in that letter, it included information for parents with easy to follow instructions on how to complete the application form, as well as submitting W-9 information to us so we can upload them into our payment system. So yeah, we tried to make this process as simple as possible for parents, and so far we've received 11 reimbursement requests, and that's going really well. We're meeting up together to review everything, and so far so good. And I was going to show you real quick, I can get there, what it looks like, because we tried to lay this out really well on our ESA website page. So the parents can just come out here and they have the reimbursement form here. And it also includes the reimbursement form instructions and a list of allowable reimbursements for them. So when they click on here, it provides information about the program and what we're looking for. Because in the beginning, we were getting reimbursements that were just order confirmations. So we kind of tried to provide on here what information we're actually needing. So receipts with vendor details, shipping information, purchase date, and proof of payment. Then it walks through the steps, and this is really easy for parents to fill out. It's similar to the application that we did in the beginning. So they'll just fill out their student name, and I'll just kind of walk through this really quick. And parent guardian information. And then on this next page where the auto date, the date populates automatically here. And then they just have to certify that the attached receipts are approved purchases. So they'll certify that, and then they'll certify that their student is not currently enrolled in public school. And then this next page, I kind of put up here again, just specifically what we're looking for. And if any information that they need, they can go to these links here on the web page. And then we're also asking them to provide a description for their reimbursements, because some of the receipts that we did receive were very detailed. So now the parents have the option to add in a description. So yeah, once they fill in the rest and upload their receipts, they just submit it to us, and it's a pretty simple process. So so that's that. And as you can see, we tried to make it as easy as possible. So far, we haven't had too many issues with the parents running into problems with that, but I am still waiting on just a few W-9s from parents, which I'll be reaching out to them this week. And the other thing that we're working on getting uploaded is a mileage reimbursement form for parents to fill out. So if they're taking their student to therapies and they want to request that mileage, well, they'll be able to fill out a form and we'll pay them at the per diem rate. And the next thing I want to talk about is just we're going to be doing a webinar for our families next week on Wednesday at 11 o'clock. And that information was sent out with our August newsletter the week before, actually. So if you need a link to that webinar, just let me know and I can send it out to you. And yep, also in that August newsletter, we sent out information about upcoming events because soon we won't be utilizing the the reimbursement process that I just showed you. We're actually going to move over to a new system called IntelliGrants, which will actually make this whole process a ton easier for our parents. So they'll be able to log in and track all the reimbursements that they've sent over to us and see balances and everything that was paid out and when. So that's exciting news that will be coming soon. And last but not least, district letters were sent out last week to our school districts, letting them know which students were enrolled in the program and what to expect. So more information will be provided soon to them for that. But yeah, any questions about the reimbursement process? Yeah, it's been going really well. So,
and Catherine, go ahead.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is there any penalties for school districts who do not turn the money over? And is there any penalties for school districts that are retaliating against the families who are enrolling into this program?
Nothing in the law. There is nothing in the law that outlines anything that we can do. But the school districts will need to pay the money. That is, anything that they owe back to the OPI. It's not uncommon for school districts to send money back to the OPI for various things. This is nothing that they're not used to. So there should not be issues with them sending.
Shouldn't be an issue. That's like,
nope.
They're usually pretty quick about it. It's not going to be a holdup for parents to get the money.
Nope.
Like if the districts decide to hold on to it, like I don't want to see a family not getting their reimbursement because a district is holding on to the money, not wanting to turn it over.
Yeah, no, that won't happen.
But there's no resolution process if a district is retaliating against a family because they've chosen to have their child do this program.
Yeah. a student, they're not from the OPI, a parent would have any of, any of their normal processes that they would need to go through. If they were feeling a retaliation, they would, reach out to the superintendent for, to get on the board meeting to maybe say, hey, we are doing this and we're getting this retaliation, or, whatever avenues in their own legal counsel would guide them to. So there are those just sort of general ways that students would have, but but nothing from the OPI or through the law for that.
And just to throw out there too, been getting good response from the districts, so I think they're all gonna work with us pretty well. So, I mean, I just sent that letter out Thursday, and I'm getting a lot of feedback from them. So, just so you know.
Clifton, you had a question.
Yes, so I was looking at the expenses list that's on the website, and one of the ones that my family in particular, I'm looking to see if I'm not sure where it would fall in, is an app. So my son uses AAC device, and he uses ProLoco, and I'm not sure would we be able to be reimbursed for, it's an expensive app, but it's something that was offered on the AEC device that he used at the school. So now that he's not a part of the school still has his device that he had before. So we were going to take a tablet and put it on there and make our own AEC, because that's what the school had, was just an Apple tablet. Is that something that is reimbursable?
So, Clifton, if you look at the law very specifically, it does say software support for students. In fact, let me just pull that up so I can read it directly to you. Sorry, I didn't have the code pulled up. I usually do have it pulled up on my computer for the meeting, but I didn't have it pulled up this time. Let me get here. Can you see? I'm not showing my screen anymore. I know that, so I will get to this. Just fine. Oh. Of course, my computer is so slow.
I bring it up because that's a huge cost for us, but it's also a big saver if it is covered.
And so you'll see here an educational program or course using electronic or offsite delivery methods.
Okay, so it falls under that. Perfect.
Clifton, do you know you can get your medical insurance to pay for that?
So we've had a real hard time. When I retired from the military, I was on TRICARE, and we fell under an ECHO program. Well, they disenrolled us from that, so we've been having a real hard time now getting our insurance to cover it. But now I do have questions, since we're not associated with the school. I know that they took out Medicaid reimbursement for my son for the what do you call it? The co-op that provided the services for the speech and OT. Does that mean now we qualify for Medicaid since they were reimbursed for it, or is it based on my income? I guess that's something that's beyond the ESA group, but once we shift over there, those are the things that we are thinking about, is the stuff that the school was reimbursed for, but now we are not.
Oh, if the school billed Medicaid for your talking device, that talking device is yours. It's not the
Okay.
school's. My son has a talking device. Can I give Clifton my email? He can email me later.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
That is a little, it's outside of our ESA purview for sure. Other than, any of those allowable expenses that,
Okay.
you would be able to get a reimbursement for, but it does sound
I'll
like.
give it to you in the chat, Clifton. You can email me and I can tell you how to get an AAC device. I've gone through 2 with my son, never through the school.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll be in the
Perfect.
chat.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine. Thanks, Clifton. Are there any other questions for Whitney on the reimbursement process? questions? Okay. I think one thing that's really important, in Clifton asking those questions is that we don't have a pre-approval process for these expenditures. But if any parents are asking questions about we really, we're taking this right from this educational resources in the law. A lot of these are really clear, and we, extrapolated that out just a little bit too in our parent handbook to get to those some more specificity on allowable and unallowable expenses. And so I do find that it's pretty, between these two things, it's, you can kind of take a look, Clifton, and just there, oh yeah, you know what, that actually does fit that. And so I think it really will help when other parents are asking you these questions too. So that kind of will, as you're communicating and getting questions about it as well, you know where to point people in that direction. So. All right, next on our agenda, any application updates for November? Whitney, anything new to look forward to on this application? The dates, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so the second round of applications will begin November 1st, 2024, and then run through till December 1st, 24. But no, I don't believe anything new will be out there. So it should all be pretty is the same as it was before.
Sounds good. Any questions? And again, that is really, they will be placed here on our website. Sorry for the scroll there. They'll be placed here on our website. When that opens, you can see the link there, just we'll link it right in on November the 1st for parents to be able to start to apply for that. Okay, great. Okay, and this next item is the communication and marketing plan, and this is something that you all had brainstormed at our last meeting and sort of wanting to think about how do we communicate out about this. We do still sometimes get calls from parents who, oh, I didn't know, or I'm just learning about this, and it is a new program. So, people learn about it in whatever ways they're learning about it. But I know you all had expressed an interest in trying to sort of set up a communication plan, sort of have an elevator speech that we put together, thinking about how we can share this out. What have you all thought about this summer and moving forward and what you would like to do as far as maybe sharing this information? Have you had any other ideas on outreach, communication, those types of things that you all could help us with?
Can we put together an informational flyer that could be given out? I mean, I think that's an excellent place to start.
We can definitely try. We don't have much of a budget to print them is kind of the thing, but we could have it available online for sure.
Can we just do a digital flyer, and if we want to give it to somebody, we can print it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something that we could.
I mean, we do live in a digital age. Like, we share that all over social media.
I think digital
I think the flyer is good too. When we received our packet to enroll as or disenroll through the county superintendent, she sent us a thing about, do we want to participate in federal bills? And it had ESA on there, even though it's not a federal bill. So is mispositioned, but it listed it, what it was, but it was just, that was it. There was nothing about it. It's just that it existed and it was on a list of programs that we might be able to be a part of, and that we were open that they email us information about it. But that was it. There's no other literature that was provided that came along with it. So if I hadn't known about the program and I had just disenrolled from the school, that's something I would have qualified for. That's probably something I should know about.
Well, and that it's not a federal program, that is a little confusing too. If if you're a parent trying to find it and then it's listed as a federal program, sort of.
We've gotten a similar packet the last 5 years as a homeschool family, and it just lists very vague. You might be eligible for these programs. If you want more information, check the box. And you can check the box and you never get more information. So it'd be much better if we can just provide something for them to give in that packet that would explain things.
Share out with the county superintendent.
Yes, because they are deliberately vague about what these things are so that you're not actually getting more information.
I agree with the statement where she says deliberately vague. That's the perception from the parent, is that we feel like information is there, like they're told to do it, but it's not given, it's not forthright. And so I don't know if I know that as the state superintendent doesn't like to have a heavy hand on the districts, but it does come time where we don't know what we don't know. And if they're it feels like when now you do know about something, but it's not given to you, it's like it's done for a reason. And I think that reason should be eliminated.
And this
would be such a game changer if at every IEP meeting that was going south, if somebody put this in front of somebody and said, if they're not doing what they should be doing, you have another option. Like the school districts would change course immediately.
So I feel
Parents,
like
if they knew there was another option, would have such a leverage tool for them. Like groups like Family Outreach and Disability Rights Montana, they should be prepared to use this as a tool to help get kids what they need when school districts aren't cooperating.
Well, what I hear is that we should put together sort of an one-page info flyer about this. And then that could be shared with county superintendents and districts, and maybe special education co-ops, like all of this sort of thing. So I think
disability rights groups, advocacy groups, any of them, all of them.
Well, what sort of information would be on this flyer? What would be the important pieces, do you think, if you're thinking of this audience? What do you think is the important sort of, what are the important pieces that you all think are important for this flyer to have?
Right across the top is the public school setting not working for your special needs child.
I think too that a lot of this is already written for us in the bill.
Yeah.
The initial description in the bill of the actual program, I think would be almost like a necessity. That way, legally, you're not getting into any trouble with the way the wording is. It goes and it's consistent with the program.
Yeah, you could just put easily what it is, what it does, and who's eligible, and that would be all you would need, and then a link to the web page. And then you're not getting in trouble for trying to pull kids out of public school or solicit kids out of the public school.
Yep. Just sort of start off with that. Okay. What other information should be on there to catch attention? Sort of like title, here's what it is, and then
a highlight of the reimbursable allowable expenses.
I actually made a graphic for my website that launches this week that explains the steps to do the Ed Navigate program. And so I have the special needs ESA in the top corner. On the other top corner in another box, I have application windows, just super clear. Is it May or June 1st? What is it? I don't have it open right now. Just the nice May 1st to June 1st, and then November 1st to December 1st. And then I have step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. So review eligibility, and I have a little blurb on the eligibility, and then gather your documents, your proof of identity, proof of residence, IEP documentation, or your official diagnosis. My step 3 is complete your application. It'll be made available on OPI's website to complete online. The step 4 is purchase materials, review the parent handbook for a comprehensive list. And then your step 5 is track and submit. So track your expenses, submit your receipts, and reimbursements will be made monthly. So that's just kind of an overview of the program. But if you want to do like a digital ad sort of thing, where like you have a digital flyer, it could be, special needs education savings account. what is an education savings account? Just a, 1 or 2 sentences to explain that, and then um, your your eligibility requirements, and clarifying you don't have to have an IEP, you need to have an official diagnosis, and what dollar amounts you may be eligible for, like up to $8,000, where you can specify your elementary, middle school amount versus your high school amount. And then just a link and or a QR code to the OPI ESA website to learn more information. And it could be really nice and simple with just a few big pointers, but something to catch um, their eyes, and then post it all over your OPI X accounts, the superintendent's account, all the social medias, and then maybe include it in one of her in like their monthly newsletter or something.
Well, I wonder then, I think Whitney and Kira, this could be probably a great sort of draft that you maybe could put together and we could share next time and get some feedback from the committee on if this is sort of meeting those needs. And then we can talk about where, how to share it out, the communication channels and things like that. So I think that getting this, it sounds like this is, you all would find this really helpful to share with your community members. And so let's go ahead, and I'll probably have Kira and Whitney work on that between now and the next meeting, but that's gives them a little time to work on that, especially as with Whitney navigating through our first round of reimbursements here pretty soon. So, but I think that we can definitely get a draft for you all to review next meeting, and then get that out there and get that going. And that'll still be 2 months, almost 2 months, a little shy of 2 months before that next application period as well. So I think we're in good time. Any other communication things that you all thought about? That's the
Have
big
we
one.
heard from any of the other district clerks about any of them coming on board to this committee so that they're an active part of this?
Yeah, we have
Like, I feel
not,
like we should have more of the school district involvement with this.
and I think actually, especially now, Catherine, that we've sort of reached out, we're going to have a webinar for schools as well, kind of to just invite them in. And I think that we should invite them to this and say, would you like to, sit down? We'd love to have, a couple of clerks, just that reminder, please like join us and let them know. So Catherine, I think that's a great call. And so we'll remember that. I'm looking at Whitney here on the screen. I think that, we'll remember to do that, to really make that direct ask when we have people, I think, face to face. And when they're talking to us about it, I think that that'll make that easier than just the emails or putting it out in our Compass newsletters and those type of things. I think you're exactly right. So we will definitely ask that in these next couple of weeks. So hopefully next time we'll have someone join us. A clerk, because I agree. Sue has mentioned that before, and we've been trying to sort of get that going, and we just haven't had takers on that. But I think we've now that they sort of see where it intersects with them a little bit, it's more tangible and they'll be more inclined to want to join in. So that's a great reminder, but we will ask when we have that the school-based webinar.
Yeah, I was just thinking,
Sure.
like my local school district, it would be nice if they knew that this was actually happening and how it was going to impact the school and the budgets for the school. And like, they're clueless. The school board has no idea, and I doubt that whoever's getting the letter has informed them the deeper impacts of this going forward. And I think that it would probably be beneficial for us to be in communication with school boards and the districts too, to tell them how this could be impacting them. Like, the school boards make the decisions for the districts as far as special education, and those funds are spent. And if they're not directing their ships properly, the funds will go elsewhere as families choose not to keep the kids in the schools. So they should be aware that this will impact, and their decisions to properly fund special education or not to properly fund special education or even to staff them accordingly will have an impact as parents choose different routes for their children.
Yep, I think, Catherine, and thank you for reminding us of that. We've definitely talked about that a lot here in the committee, and you're exactly right in trying to make that connection. But I think we might now be at the point where that makes a lot more tangible sense to the clerks and districts as well. So I think we're in a good spot for that. Anything else? All right, well, I'll flip back to our agenda, and then the next thing we have is just talking about our next meeting. So let's talk about our agenda items for the next meeting. We will have a draft flyer for you all to review and approve and make that communication plan. So that is one agenda item. I will keep the litigation update on there, although I don't anticipate having any changes from what we've had today for that. But if we do, we'll have that litigation update. And then reimbursement overview, I think Whitney will be just getting through that. So we might have a little bit more information just to share and update you on that. Do you have anything else that you would like to bring forward and have us have on the agenda, or any information? We have reached out to Representative Vinton to invite her, and since that next meeting is getting closer, she wasn't able to come today, but I'm wondering if that next meeting is a little closer to that interim education committee sessions in September, she may be available. So maybe she would be able to pop in and join us, because we're definitely inviting her for that. So hopefully maybe we could have her come in and just chat with us for a few minutes, because I know you've been wanting that, and just for you to know, we've been asking, and hopefully we can get her here next month. So that'll be one of my goals.
I know that in the past we talked about there needed to be some cleanup language done in the bill in the next session. And I've brought up a number of times, how do we get the homeschool kids that were previously homeschooled included in this? When does that get addressed?
Yeah, that is, you know what I'm going to do? I will invite our legislative liaison. Her name is Katie Bloodgood. I will invite her to our next ESA meeting so that she can talk about that, because she's sort of gathering the information from the agency for that. I know there have been discussions going on with this. I know Representative Vinton is aware that there needs to be some cleanup, but I'll have Katie come in and let us know timelines, what's going on with that, and just to give you an update on that, and to hear any feedback that you have as well. So I will have her join. That'll be a great topic for September, I think. Absolutely.
Okay.
Thanks for thinking of that. That's a good one. Yeah.
Because I've been telling the families that were homeschooled that have not been in the system to get the evaluations done to make sure that their kids are IEP eligible, so that whenever they become homeschool kids are eligible, they're already ready to go. So they're already
that they have that checked. At least.
Yes,
at least that report
ready that says that kids are IEP eligible.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, Katie will be able to give us some updates on that.
Okay.
Sure. Not on what they're considering, but just on the timeline and exactly.
Yeah, their kids are not enrolling. They're not getting IEPs. They're just getting the paperwork from the school saying that they are IEP eligible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll have to tread on that a little bit carefully, because the homeschool community in general are opposed to receiving government funds in general. And so that will have to be carefully crafted, with maybe creating a different legal entity that you are no longer a homeschooler, but you're something else, like a different designation. And that way the homeschoolers can maintain their life with the protections that they have under the MCA code. But then there's a different designation when you're participating in the ESA program. So we don't want the homeschoolers to come out against our, any kind of cleanup on this bill, because we want them to be able to participate if they want to. So.
Yeah, the ones that I've talked to that have the special needs kids that are homeschooling were, the homeschooling choice didn't come first. They chose the homeschooling because the public school failed and they didn't have the choice. They had to homeschool because of it. So they're not the grassroots homeschooling community. But yes, as long as we're not imposing new laws on the homeschooling community, which this bill didn't. It really doesn't have anything extra. It's not in conflict with the homeschool laws. There's no extra, as long as we find a way just to include the homeschooling families that want to, that have special needs kids. I don't think we're going to have an issue at all. I've actually been in contact with Steve White, who's the Montana Coalition of Home Educators. And as long as we're not imposing anything new, he doesn't have any objection to it either. It just has to be voluntary.
That's awesome.
That's a really good point, Cheryl. I think that the marketing should go towards that too, is wording it and maybe even putting in there that you're not going to be inspected by the state. Like my wife is worried that we're going to be inspected and that there's going to be this huge tracking of our type of curriculum that we're using, and making sure that everything that is that we're doing is going to be tracked, and that there's maybe should be something in there. It's just I don't know how it should be worded, but they should be reassured that it falls in that category of the similar what homeschooling is geared towards, because then you're disenfranchising a whole group of people that could take advantage of this program.
Absolutely.
You know, if we look at it this way, if it's publicized properly, and this is how a lot of the parents that I've spoken with special needs, it actually bridges a better relationship with you in the district. It means that the district is really understanding the concept of an IEP. Not every child is designed to be in a brick and mortar school. It doesn't work for so many of our kids. To acknowledge that and to give an option, if it is well and articulately publicized in that manner, could actually end some hostilities. But I do think that parents do need to understand the complete ramifications of making this choice. This choice comes with, different issues, and you should know each one of them and be very well versed. I don't want anybody to come back in a year going, well, if I only had known that, I wouldn't have bothered, or it didn't work out the way I thought it was.
Yeah, and Louisa, I think, it's interesting. Catherine and I think we're just chatting a little, like as the meeting was coming in, just exactly sort of about that communication, that relationship between schools and families, and how to improve that. I'd like to have that clear communication and that clear, we're supporting our kids, and how can we all do that in the best way possible, sort of. So I think that's kind of what I hear you saying, at least anyway. So.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's when this was first presented a while ago, I sat down with one of the directors in Great Falls, and I said, just give it to me, the skinny, the good, bad, and ugly. I want to hear it all. Because I know parents are going to come to me, and I need to make a really good elective way, supported, not support. And I think the one thing we both agreed was this was just a different, innovative way that we can support our families. Because we know so many kids that just do not work in traditional education. And we have to look outside the box.
I love that this is another tool in the toolbox to help special needs kids. I've done a special need kiddo in the special ed setting in the public schools. I've done the homeschool, getting a private place service plan, still getting service in the public schools. This is just another toolbox that the parents can use. Whatever we can do, just like Sue Vinton said, that makes these kids successful is what it's about. I don't care what avenue a parent takes. Let's just make them successful. It shouldn't be about the dollars. It shouldn't be who's doing a better job. Whatever it takes to help these kids be successful is what we need to do. It doesn't matter how it happens or where it comes from.
You hit the nail on the head. It's about the kids.
It is about the kids. That's what it's always supposed to be about, right? The kids. Getting the education and being successful in the education setting. That's it.
Yeah. And whatever that looks like for every individualized child is going to be a very, very different thing. And understanding that our education system is a little antiquated. It's based on a model that doesn't exist any longer. We just need to be more creative. We need to be more individualized.
Well, and I think on that note, our next meeting, if everyone is okay to think forward here to September the 9th already, then I'm happy to continue this great conversation then. I have some more information to share with you. we'll see if Representative Vinton can join us for that one. We'll have Catherine Bloodgood, our legislative liaison, pop in to chat with you about some of that timeline for what that looks like moving forward for that next legislative session, because it's around the corner. And we'll work on a communication plan and just give you some overall updates as they come along. Does anyone have anything else for us before we leave for today? Thanks everyone for taking time out of your busy summer schedules. I hope you get to get out and enjoy some more good weather before the winter comes. And I will see you all September the 9th. As always, reach out anytime. We're here. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.